Let me be blunt. You won't believe this new ganjame. What? Ganjame? Brendan, did you really try and make a portmanteau out of ganja and game? Are you fucking... Weedcraft Inc is like Lemonade Tycoon for marijuana. And, I mean, the second strain of weed they give you in the game is lemon right in the title to drive home the metaphor. Oh, and yes, before you ask, I did completely recycle that from my description in the Half-Informed video. What can I say? It's an incredibly dumb joke, so I'm subjecting you to it again. The story is generally what you would expect, but the way that they twist it is the fact that from the outset you can choose one of two scenarios to play through. The first scenario is entitled Growing Up. Two brothers, one a stoner, the other an educated businessman. I didn't put man, I just put educated business. Reunited by the death of their father, the two must work together to conquer the local weed market. And the second, entitled Highs and Laws, sees an ex-convict trying to make it in the world outside, but eventually he finds his way back into the weed business, even though it's a bit more advanced than, back in his day. So these scenarios provide a little bit of a different spin onto the gameplay, but we're going to start off with the first scenario, which, let's be real, I spent most of my time with because it's the easier one of the two. The gameplay is basically a tycoon game with a bit of a cookie clicker, or should I say brownie clicker, thrown in. It's simple, but it acquires depth as you progress through the campaign, as they teach you more and more about the ins and outs of everything. And as someone who has always lingered on the periphery of that kind of very light strategy tycoon-like game, I'm definitely into that kind of stuff. It's simple enough that you can play without too much of a learning curve, but there is enough depth and things popping up and data that you can really dive into the numbers and micromanage things. I will admit that despite all these fancy numbers and everything showing up, I've been playing this less as a urban street smart capitalist chess and more marijuana gardening cookie clicker. Which, is a valid way to play, but there's definitely a sense that I'm not respecting the gravity of, ooh, the competition's getting stronger with every pop-up telling me that. I kind of feel like I'm playing marbles and ignoring the comedically large tsunami that's just building behind me. So it makes sense then, I suppose, that I didn't really spend as much time in the second scenario because that's the one that's a bit more advanced. Suffice to say, this is more of a scenario that you should be going to if you've played through all of the first scenario and you're like, oh, well, I don't want all the tutorial stuff, I just want to jump in there. I mean, you can still leaf through the manual, but, really, you kind of need to know what you're doing from the get-go. I was planning on putting about an hour or so into playing this, like an hour or so sesh, just to, confirm that everything's pretty much the same. I bought a bunch of properties, and I was kind of paranoid about the police encroaching on the illegal side of what little business I had made at that point. I was constantly vigilant of the police, I was slowly bringing up the quality of my product, and I was just about to get my first batch of that really good devil's lettuce boy, and then the game kind of went grayscale and then game overed me. I would later realise that the fact that I had spent the $50,000 that I had started with, which left me no money to pay off all the rent that I was accruing, all the while trying to improve my weed that wasn't good enough quality for anyone to consider buying it, even as I lowered the price to $1 a gram. The default is like 20, which kinda left me in the red for probably half an in-game year, which kinda sorta meant that I was bankrupt. The good news is I think I've set a new land speed record of going from hopeful ex-con to bankrupt, now probably homeless, in about, 10 minutes. So yeah, if you kinda just fuck about and cookie clicker and just buy shit and not pay attention, it's not as forgiving to your dumb ass. Otherwise, the music's good, I kinda love the music. So yeah, generally the game's pretty good. I'm not exactly confident that I have experienced all this game can possibly give me, because maybe I'm not intellectual enough, or maybe I just don't like economics enough. But I mean, even then, I generally enjoyed it, and I'm more than willing to say that it's a recommendation from me. Check it out. So that is the end of the review. Thank you guys, gals and non-binary pals. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment if you enjoyed this, and please subscribe. We have got more cool Half-Informed and Life is Strange 2 stuff coming up. Very exciting. If you would like to support us financially, we have a Patreon, which is probably in the description. But if not, it's patreon.com/weareabit. Please go there to support the videos and the podcasts. And we're done here. Thank you guys for watching.